I'm Jeff Hemmings. This is Brighton's Finest radio show, online, DAB and podcast, bringing the artist closer to you.
What have you been doing today?
We've actually been to Gibson so Tom can get a new guitar.
All right, nice.
Yeah. And Tom got a new guitar, so we went to the pub afterwards and celebrated him getting a new guitar.
Is that a freebie?
It's a freebie for a couple months.
And then what happens?
You have to give it back.
Oh no! I thought, it might be scratched or scuffed or Yeah.
That was one thing I was thinking when I was in there. I was like, they all look brand new. I was like, They're going to come back slightly scuffed. Like, he's taking it on tour. They were like, you're just using it for a recording, right? And he was like, no, I'm going to take it on tour for a few weeks. And they were like, okay. Mm-hmm. I was like, that's not going to come back in the same condition.
No, very unlikely, isn't it?
If anything, it's just going to smell more.
So you're sort of in between tours at the moment?
Then we're on a UK tour for the best part of 3 weeks. And then we come back, we finish in London on the 3rd of March. And then 2 days later, we go to the States for a few weeks.
Are you doing South by Southwest?
Yes, we're doing 2 shows in New York, 2 in LA, 1 in Seattle, and then we go to South by for the whole of South by, yeah. At least 1 a day at the moment. We try not to hit it too hard.
Have you been there before?
No. Have you?
No. But I've heard millions of stories.
Yeah. Do you know Tim, our manager?
No, I don't.
He's been 6 or 7 times. He says it's really fun. But yeah, I think it's unlike a lot of the UK, like Great Escape and stuff. I feel like it's more hectic than that.
Well, it'll be an experience, that's for sure.
We're all looking forward to it.
Are you recording as well at the moment, or thinking about recording?
Yeah. So up until last weekend, we just finished recording the demos for the album. We're looking to record when we get back from the States, so April time.
And it's going to be in a new environment, isn't it? Because I understand that you recorded the 2 EPs in your mum's garage. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. It literally was. It kind of still is. She's moved out of there now, but it was just a garage that was converted kind of illegally. As in, there's still a garage door on the front. It looked like a functioning garage, but behind it was just a brick wall. And inside there was a very small. You probably get a smart car inside it, kind of space, and that's where we kind of wrote the first 2. They sold the property, so we started writing the album in a normal, like a studio or rehearsal room environment. And then we kind of missed quite a small space because we was in a very large room because we were like, we can. And then after a few weeks, we decided to go smaller. We downsized our rehearsal room, and then where we've been writing as well is very small as well. So where we've been recording is very small, and I think it suits us very well. Kind of connecting with the other musicians, but also kind of it makes everything more. If you don't need to play it, don't play it, because you're just making too much noise for such a small room. We told him that we wanted to record some demos, and we did. It took us about 3 hours. We just set everything up and just recorded, and we were going to do 5 tracks. We had an idea which we added on. It was like we're here, and it's still quite early in the day, so we did a track which became Magic and Megan, and the whole EP was kind of very. The recording was very, because we thought it was going to be demos. It's very like a snapshot of where those songs were at the time. And Florence, the vocalist, she had never recorded before. It's all very kind of fresh and new. And we kind of then kept that going on the second one. We recorded with the same guy again. And we're now in a weird phase on the album where we've kind of done that again with the demos. We kind of tried to keep it quite snapshot of where those songs were at the time, to the point where we're like, maybe we can just release these demos because they sound good enough. And we've definitely released demos in the past. I think we're going to try actually take it into a studio and try to recreate it.
So it's all a bit of an adventure still, basically, the recording process.
Yeah, we've been so fortunate with our position and everything that keeps happening that we're constantly learning to try and understand what works best for us writing and recording wise.
Yeah.
And so far they're just recording snapshots of where things are at the time, mistakes and all. And I don't just mean as like a bit of a bum note, but as in like we'd like to change structures and stuff. But where that was at that time, that's kind of just how we settle on. The demos we're recording that day, and we're very happy with them. So maybe we'll kind of just recreate that in some kind of form.
Yeah.
It was quite weird though. Some of the demos we'd kind of written maybe 3 months ago, just on a random practice.
So before you hooked up with her, you were basically jamming and finding your feet, as it were?
There was never a plan for it to be a band. Myself and Nick, the drummer, had been in a band called La Shark for a few years, and we'd done various playing bass and drums for people for a good, I guess now 12 years. And we were very close friends as well. But Nick goes out with a girl called Alice, who's a twin, and the other twin, Elizabeth, she goes out with Tom, the guitarist.
Right.
So we all hang out together a lot, and we kind of have spoken quite a lot about playing on different projects or ideas that each other had. And then one day we kind of just decided to just jam, and we kind of carried on jamming, mainly because my mum kept feeding us. So we'd go over and
great mum.
we'd get a free dinner out of it.
Yeah.
So we kind of did that for a few months, and then after a while, still didn't think we'd be a band. We kind of was just enjoying playing and hanging out together.
Yeah.
We were maybe we tried some vocals ourselves. It sounded horrendous. Started to think about who could do vocals on top. And even then, when Flo did get involved, we only ever thought that we would do a cassette just for ourselves.
So it's been a kind of like a pleasant surprise how it's all turned out.
yeah, massively. So, yeah, I think a bit of an understatement.
I mean, it's not that long ago, is it? I don't know when you played when did you play your first gig with Flo?
Not much more than a year and a half ago. And that was her first ever gig, to the point where in soundcheck, when the sound engineer was like, "Can you test your vocal?" She just turned around to me and was like, "What do I do?" And I was like, just speak into the mic. And she was like, "Okay." That's how kind of unused to that environment she was.
Sure.
And then she kind of but she enjoyed it very quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that she was really reticent to begin with, obviously because she'd never been on stage before.
She's never been in a band. She's never been a musician.
Yeah.
So she quit the band about 3 times before she actually joined.
Right.
And then once she was in, she kind of, because she's always worked with words. She's an artist, and she uses words in lots of her visual art. Myself and Nick have known her for the best part of 10 years, just through friends, and we kind of know of her other work. And Tom, they've known each other, they studied together and they lectured together, so we kind of knew her vibe, and we knew it'd be something interesting.
Yeah.
But we're very lucky with how well it landed. Yeah.
Brilliant. So she's not going to leave now, is she?
Hope fucking not, no.
So how does a typical dry cleaning song come about then? Is it the music first, the words after, or do you sometimes jam it all together?
So we record everything, and good or bad, we record everything. While we're jamming, she will have multiple pieces of paper with lots of sketches of sentences and words, and she'll kind of work her way through it. And then for the next few days after that jam, we will listen to it, and we will kind of highlight moments that we like. And then Flo's kind of constantly writing over that, and then we'll come back maybe a week later and kind of put some parts together or talk about the dynamics of the song, and Flo will just be playing on top of it the whole time.
As far as I understand, that her words are a collection of sort of snapshots and conversations and things that she's picked up from a variety of sources. And then she just sort of jumbles it into some kind of song form. I read somewhere that she likes her sort of vocal delivery sort of doesn't give much away in terms of the emotion behind the song. So you don't know if it's personal or if she's feeling positive or negative about some of the things that she's singing about. Does that make sense? And
yeah, I agree. It's also hard for me to judge. And so, a lot of times it kind of only happens once we actually record that I actually get to really digest the lyrics. For example, there's a lyric on the first EP about Saw 2, which I always thought was about the film Saw 2, which is actually a Call It reference, which is about the Aphex Twin album. So, we don't speak about it too much.
I'll have to inevitably ask you about the name of the band. I don't think you actually know where it came from, but
I think Flo or Tom came up with it, but another band that we listened to at the time was Suburban Lawns. They have a song called Janitor, which is amazing. We've been listening to that song, and I've been listening to the record a lot. We were thinking of names kind of around that. It kind of has come around, though, that accidentally, it is kind of a bit of a blessing that if you slightly know about the band, you see our band name on every high street, which I kind of like.
Yeah.
Like,
but if
remember that
if you do a Google search, you won't come up with your band.
No,
but
and
that
you know what
doesn't.
also happens as well? We get lots of messages from other dry cleaners
Right.
trying to promote themselves or
Yeah.
like selling dry cleaning goods. But do you remember that band like a few years ago, Hardfi? They
Yep.
had like a logo which is a security camera.
That's
And I remember
right,
at the
yeah.
time thinking that's like a really good idea because you kind of just see those like that logo and also security camera everywhere. I was like, oh, like great idea. And like didn't intentionally do it, but kind of found myself in a project where we have something that you see everywhere. So yeah, hopefully people who hate it see it more.